Aaron Rodgers, the day that he decides to show up, the defense doesn't. I want the whole package. I want the whole thing this time.
I'll tell you what, Romeo Doubs is looking good. He is going to be wide receiver number 1 by the end of the season. Book it.
Dillon are going to be part of this. They're going to get a lot of catches this year. They're going to get even more. Jones already showed that he can handle a big load of catches.
9 different receivers had 90 or more yards, in the 7 games that Devontae was out.
He stuck with this team for so long. He said he wants to retire here. Why not just let it be?
Hey everybody, this is Gerhard de Beer, former Green Bay Packer offensive lineman, and you're watching Frozen Tundra Network with Bill the Packer fan and Packer owner Nick. Enjoy.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Frozen Tundra Network. Today we got a lot of great topics. I know it sounds crazy, but we're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers today. I know it sounds crazy. Some other topics, we're going to talk about Justin Fields and the Bears, which I know that we all have some really good opinions on that. And we're going to have some guests from other teams join us as well and give us their opinions. So let's go ahead. Let's start off with something that we were talking about right before the show. The draft is coming up, and we're starting to get down to what is it that the Packers actually need desperately in the first, second, and third round of this draft. So, Bill, why don't you go ahead and take the lead?
I'm sorry, I wasn't even listening. You're talking
about what do we need in this draft?
Well, it all depends on what happens in the offseason, because I keep hearing we might cut Bakhtiari. I don't know how true that is. So if that's true, I like to see offensive linemen, maybe a tight end or two, because we're definitely hurting on tight ends. Robert Tonyan isn't under contract anymore. And not even that, I'm not even sure if I want him to come back, He hasn't. What is he? He had one good solid year, and that's about it, man. It's been a standstill ever since,
I'm not sure that Robert Tonyan is the answer at this point. I don't know.
Actually,
not at all.
Actually, it's 3 of our tight ends in free agency. Tonyan, Mercedes Lewis, and Tyler Davis are free agents now.
I'm all right with Tyler Davis being gone. He just, every time he gets a chance to do something great, he drops the ball or does something stupid. Mercedes Lewis, obviously, big dog, is pretty old, but I wouldn't mind seeing him come back. I'm glad that we still have DeGuara, mainly because I know DeGuara is not like starter material per se, but he does a lot of great things. He will play fullback instead of tight end on certain packages, which is a great asset to us. He's a pretty decent blocker when he is in the tight end spot. So I like DeGuara a lot. I'm just not so sure that after that injury, Tonyan is the guy anymore that we thought he was going to be. So I talked enough. Let's go with Simon, Ken, Dorn. Give us your opinions.
You guys can go ahead.
Well,
not everybody at once.
I think we need a wide receiver for sure. We need another pass rusher. Definitely a tight end like you're talking. The first pick, I would like to go with wide receiver. Even with Rodgers there or with Love, doesn't matter. We need another wide receiver. Pass rush too. We need another pass rusher. It would be nice, But we'll see what happens. Between now and free agency, we'll see what happens, if there's any trades or what's going to go on.
Ken, you can go ahead.
All right. Yeah, I definitely agree with John on us needing a pass rusher. Having Gary out kind of exposed that. That even though I forgot the guy's name there, Kingsley Ebane or whatever his name was. Yeah,
Enagbari.
Yeah, Enagbari. That's what it is. I always forget his freaking name, but he looked real good. But I definitely would love to see a pass rusher with that first one, or maybe a safety, just because we're letting Amos walk out the door. It seems like.
So what you just said, I truly don't believe that we're letting Amos go. I really don't see it. I think Amos is extremely loyal to Green Bay. I think that Amos is the type of player that wants to be in Green Bay, and he's going to say, look, guys, I'm not here for the money. He's going to want a certain amount of money, obviously, but I think he's willing to be very generous about it. Like, look, I'm about to be 30. Why don't you guys tell me what it is that you expect to pay me, and I'm willing to come back I think that we're going to run into that with him. Simon, what do you think?
I think safety is a pretty high priority, even if we bring Amos back. We're probably not looking at a super long-term deal, and then we only have Savage on his 5th-year option, so that kind of just sort of fits the bill for this year. But we need someone to develop in the meantime. We don't really have anyone else besides him. Wide receivers definitely up there, other than Christian Watson and 2 other guys we drafted last year. We're really thin. We don't have any veteran presence, so I expect us to pick up someone. Offensive line, maybe, but I wouldn't put it too high of it, and then definitely tight end. But yeah, edge rusher is definitely up there too. After Gary went out, it was poor play.
So everything I'm seeing is that Green Bay really, really loves that kid from University of Utah, Kincaid. And we were just talking about this earlier. Huh?
Yeah, I've seen the name before, Dalton Kincaid.
So I don't think that. Look, I don't think Green Bay loves Myers. I don't think they do. I think they see something in Kincaid that maybe they don't, as opposed to the other tight ends. I'm not sure, but we were talking about earlier how Green Bay loves to do this thing where if they're set on a player, they're not worried about reaching or grabbing them too early. When they love a player, they go for it, man. And they don't say sorry to nobody. They go, this was our guy. This is who we thought was the best on the board that we had. So if they take Kincaid in the first round, as much as everyone's going to say, you could have done that in the second round possibly, Green Bay's going to make that move because that's the guy that they wanted, So I could see us getting Kincaid with the first pick. I really could. There's a few other select guys that are out there that look pretty good if they drop to us. If Addison dropped to 15, I think that's the only wide receiver I would consider in the first round.
You don't like the guy from Ohio State?
No, not nearly as much. So it has everything to do with, for me anyways, I don't see anyone else other than Addison at the wide receiver position that Green Bay wouldn't draft a tight end first over them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And
so you want to pick a punter then?
More than likely, Addison will drop. He's not that high on the charts as a draft pick. Like, if there's a receiver ahead of him right now, it's Quentin Johnson out of TCU, the number 1.
Yeah, I see him mocked to us too.
Yeah, I see Addison going high as like 7 and 8 in a lot of mock drafts. So we'll see what happens. He definitely seems like he could drop though, and if he does, that's the guy I'm looking at. Other than tight end though, we obviously need a safety. And Alabama, had some pretty good safeties. This is actually kind of a loaded safety draft from what I've seen. I don't want to whiff on not picking up someone like Petrie again, because I thought, man, that hurt when we didn't get Petrie when we could have, and he killed it for the Texans. So I'd really love to get a new safety, because if we do bring Amos back, I'm sorry, but Savage probably not the answer at this point.
Savage, we can't even give away.
Ford is so wishy-washy. It's just really tough with Ford. I don't see any other options at this point. We need a safety. We need safety help.
The Packers been linked to Von Bell lately. Not
I've
sure.
seen that too.
Yeah.
Well, and of course, in some mock drafts, I keep
possibility.
seeing. And I was going to say, in some mock drafts, I've seen Green Bay got two different options at safety, both of them coming from Alabama. Either we're going to get Brian Branch in the first round, or in a later round, we go after Jordan Battle.
I really like Branch. I saw his highlight tape. I thought he looked pretty good. I think that he would fit with us. Now, when it comes to wide receiver guys, the one big reason why I really don't want to go first round with a wide receiver is because the free agency list.
Right?
I feel like that there's a pretty healthy free agency list of guys that could help us. It just has to obviously be at the right price, not 15 to 17 million, Lazard. You know what I mean?
He might stay and negotiate.
Well,
hopefully, I would love to have him back.
Yeah. If there is one name that's been popping up that comes to mind as a receiver in free agency we can go after, there's always Jacoby Myers from the Patriots.
I don't mind Jacoby Myers. I actually think he's very talented. I think he was overhyped and he didn't live up to that hype so far. Someone for me that I really, really like was Sterling Shepard. Sterling Shepard, it actually looks like he might not be too expensive because of how it all ended in New York.
Right.
I don't think that it's going to cost us an arm and leg to get a guy that can create his own separation. When he gets the targets, he actually plays very well. Obviously he has to stay healthy, but I like that option.
Mm-hmm, yeah, being in New York, I've seen his play a lot, and I've been pretty impressed with him with what he's done with some of the opportunities he's had.
Yeah. What do you guys think? Free agency, there's obviously other receivers that you guys have seen. I know that Simon was talking about a few guys that he really liked on that list.
Yeah, I don't mind Darius Slayton. I think he's an interesting option as well. What is it, Mac Collins? From the Raiders. He had an interesting year. I forget who else I said I was looking at, but those are just a couple guys.
I think you always trade for receiver too.
There was McCole Hardman. I like McCole Hardman. I know a lot of people are kind of iffy on him. I've always really liked McCole Hardman.
And somebody in the comments said, "Why not take on Robert Woods?"
Yeah, so Mike was actually saying Robert Woods on a 1-year prove-it deal.
Mike was saying he wanted Savage too. He was wondering if the Packers would deal Savage.
He did. He said, "Please give us Savage."
We could always trade Aaron Rodgers for a wide receiver and probably a pick or something.
Yeah. So I actually look. I disagree with this 100%. I just disagree with this comment in every way.
That's not true.
I actually think that there is really good value in the free agencies for wide receivers this year. What's up, Isaac? Go ahead and give us your take.
So what was the question?
We're talking about free agency, what we're looking for, as opposed to drafting. Like, what is it that we need in the draft, and what do we need to pull from free agency to bring this team back together, man? Because there's holes everywhere. Seemingly.
Yeah, Isaac, I hope you got a game plan set up, man.
Yeah.
Well, I was playing Game Boy. I was playing my Game Boy. No, I'm just kidding. Again,
he said, "Well, on Madden, it worked if I did this."
I did make a couple trades in Madden. No, I'm just kidding. There is some good receivers out, and not great wide receivers, but there is some wide receivers in the pool to look around, and there's some wide receivers that are available. I mean, I wouldn't mind if Robert Woods was healthy, and in mind taking a stab at him, and if he maybe a prove-it deal, 1-year deal, not even cost that much, probably put him on the team. Like, he's gone through a couple seasons where he was kind of injury prone, but if he's fully healthy, he can definitely help the Packers. Like, he can produce just like he did with the Rams. And then we would definitely have to look at the safety position. I think, though, during the draft, we're going to address that. I wouldn't mind us, go pulling for the safety in the draft as our first pick. Either that or, we need defensive end, somewhere around there. But this team definitely has young pieces that can keep on churning, despite who the quarterback is, whether it's Rodgers or Jordan Love or it's Nick Green,
Yeah, exactly.
So let's actually get down to that. Let's get to the hot topic now that you brought up Jordan Love. We all know what John Dorn thinks about Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers, but now that Aaron Rodgers is back from his retreat, I'll call it, everybody thinks that Aaron Rodgers went onto the Pat McAfee show and he honestly answered a question what he's doing on his off time, and it's not on NFL Network or anything like that. It's just his friend's podcast, right? You can watch it on YouTube, and people think that he is just attention seeking when he's asked by his friend to go on to this podcast and talk to him like a normal human being. I hope that everybody realizes this guy does have a life outside of football. Now, when everybody was saying that he lied about his vaccination, which he didn't lie about anything, he said he's immunized. He was immunized. he's a horrible person, right? But when he's truthful and he's honest, when someone asks him a question, now he's attention seeking. This guy just can't win, you guys. So what is it that you guys are seeing? Like, it's driving me crazy sometimes.
Yeah, no, I see the same thing for sure, man. They hear a little bit of a story and they just run with it no matter what it is. And then people complain that he doesn't come out and speak. Well, what do you want him to do? If he had to speak on everything that they wrote about, he'd never get no sleep. You know?
I mean, it's just like if he farts, they'll think, oh my God, he just fucking called the Bears shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
You know, there's around the story, you know.
Yeah, the guy, like, you know what? All these North rivals are like National Enquirer, and they want to know what this guy's up to 24/7. Like, is that the definition of addicted to this guy? Like, Packer fans are not even addicted to Rodgers that much. You know, I don't care what Rodgers does in his personal life. I don't care.
Right.
And, you know, people question his sexuality. I don't give a damn about that. All I care about is the football player. You know, whether he's playing for my team or not.
Owns the Bears.
Yeah, he still definitely owns the Bears. You know,
if he wants to do shrooms, let him do shrooms. Let him fucking trip his balls off. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
I'm fucking jealous. I'm jealous of that. I wish I was with him.
The funny thing is, people are like so appalled he does drugs, but half the people that make fun of him do drugs.
And you'll be people sitting there popping down as many Percocets they can get a hold of.
Now, don't be talking about Alvin. Come on. Keep it legit, man.
Oh, no.
No, there's an inside joke to that. That's why I said that.
So he can say, look, he can go out there and he can say, hey, guys, I bought a really wonderful sweater this year, and I think it's going to be awesome for the Christmas party. And then go, why do you need everyone to know about your sweater? Oh, my God.
They probably ask him, where did he buy it from? Oh, New York? He's going to the Jets. He bought a sweater from New York. The Jets are in the league.
You know what's funny to me is that they say they don't care about Rodgers all the time on a lot of these groups. We don't care about Rodgers, but yet watch the whole Pat McAfee show with Rodgers. Like, irony in that, you know?
And then talk about it on Facebook for 3 days.
Right.
I would actually really like to get an outside perspective on this real quick. Here's Russell. Russell runs his own podcast called The Main Event. Go watch it. It's a wonderful podcast. Awesome host. Russell, thanks for being on, and I want you to take the driver's seat on this one real quick.
Yeah, I was listening to you guys talking about that, and you know what? It is true. I mean, face it, guys. The Packers and Aaron Rodgers, I mean, it's news. It's news. And if Aaron Rodgers were to take a crap, somebody would be there with a camera saying, hey, Aaron Rodgers, it was the wrong kind of crap. How dare Aaron Rodgers?
It was green. He must have ate McDonald's. You know?
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, the fact that you guys have had, Hall of Fame quarterback after Hall of Fame quarterback, I mean, it's a good problem to have. I mean, everybody's talking about you, but, he came out of his darkness retreat and,
just so you guys know, Mike the Bear fan said we will not do it 3 in a row. So
you won't do what?
We won't get 3 Hall of Fame quarterbacks in a row.
Or any, for that matter.
We got one in the making right now, Jordan Love.
You know what the scariest thing about Love is that we don't know about Love. That's it. I mean, like he could be the best quarterback ever. He could suck. We don't know. He's been marinating behind
one of the best. Go ahead, say it, Russell.
Yeah, he's been marinating behind one of the best. I mean, that's what
come on.
You just
I will guarantee you that you'll be better than Justin Fields. Guaranteed.
Okay.
You heard that, Mike the Bear fan. You heard John Dorn. You want to repeat that again, John?
Yeah, he is.
Hold on. Let me get him up big. Let me get you big first. Ready and 3. There you go.
Jordan Love will own the NFC North and will be better than Justin Fields any day of the week.
And he said to clip it.
Clip it.
Yeah.
So what's this? Fields is scared of the cold or something like that?
Yeah, he hates the cold. He hates Chicago. He hates Chicago.
How do you play in the North and be?
He wants to be traded to a dome team. He wants to go
but see, the thing is, think about it. It's going to take about 5 years to build the new stadium, right, Mike? About 5 or 6 years.
Oh, it depends. It could be sooner, but yeah, roughly. A couple years
We'll
for
get
sure.
out there and get to work.
Yeah,
Come
but
on,
I
Mike.
think about it. In 5 or 6 years, Fields probably and most likely won't even be a quarterback there. You know what I mean?
He will.
You think so? In 5 or 6 years?
I do.
The next year or two is definitely going to tell. That's for sure.
Well, for sure. But I mean, I was listening to you guys, and man, let's rewind back like a week. You guys were just all saying to trade Fields, and this week, or to trade Rodgers. Now you're all like on his ass. Like, which is it?
Let's
You didn't see John Dorn's background?
Let's reverse what you said first. Trade Fields. No, we want Fields to be your quarterback.
No, you know what I meant. We're not talking about Fields. This is the frozen tundra. Literally a week ago, everybody on the panel was all for let's get rid of Rodgers, this and that. Now this week,
I believe a majority of us still are.
Yeah, I think everyone still is. We're just defending the media and the drama narrative that people are talking about.
Dude, this guy could turn left on Broadway and it's going to be on the news. You know what I mean?
Right, but he's going to be in the back of the truck with a 12-pack of Busch Light. You know what I mean?
Right.
Look,
sounds like a party, to be honest.
Eating McDonald's.
The
So
simple
why don't we
answer
send-
is if we get a good return for Rodgers, why not trade him? You know what I mean? He's
No,
getting
I
to
agree.
the tail
That's
end
my
of his
whole
career.
point, man. Trade
You
him
know?
now so we get something in return.
Yeah.
I have a feeling he's
So
staying.
that's what you want, Bill, right?
I have a feeling he's
I
staying.
want exactly.
So-
I have a feeling he's
He's
staying.
committed.
And I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers is a bum or a douchebag or nothing. He's
No.
a good. He's a whatever team he goes to, it is going to better that team, 100%.
Right,
You know, what I
Right,
mean?
but here's the thing: you guys shouldn't be getting greedy. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. You should get draft capital, but really, 2 first-round picks—that's a lot for a 39-year-old.
That's the media clickbait. None of us actually know
Oh,
what's
that's-
being worked behind the
Yeah,
scenes.
nobody
you know
said
what I mean?
that.
Right, but you think about it as a fan. You know what I'm saying? And logical all around the NFL,
As
not
a
just
fan,
being
we would like to
not.
see something like the Matthew Stafford trade, but in reality,
No,
what could
fuck
happen,
no.
nobody
That's not
knows.
happening.
Yeah, I know, but
Well,
as a fan, you would love to
Stafford's
see
younger,
something. Like that, you know?
Here's what I think. I don't expect 2 first-round picks, but if a team or a general manager is desperate enough, they'll fucking do it.
Yeah.
Oh, who wouldn't? Right.
If they're looking win this year, bring in a big name
Yeah, if they're
quarterback and
winning
sell
now,
tickets, then if the Jets offer 2 first-round picks, I'd take that easily every day of the fucking week.
Yeah.
Right,
But
but
I
really,
don't
here's
think
the-
that's
So
a
who
realistic
is like
expectation.
that? Who is like that could trade with
The Raiders
with
are always desperate.
Yeah,
the Raiders
are
will give
always
us.
desperate.
If the Raiders give us the
Contending.
7th pick, I'm down to do it, man. That is great.
There are
Great
desperate
return.
general managers out there for sure.
And
What
a
about
lot of them-
Miami?
a lot
What
of
about
these
Miami?
GMs
I don't
are
think
hot
so.
in the hot
Carolina's
tub
got the
too,
9th
so.
pick. Mhm.
Yeah, look at the Ravens. They're not even committed to Lamar Jackson. They need a quarterback.
They can't afford it. They gave all their money to Roquan.
I didn't give all their money.
Yep.
I don't know. What
Yeah, they did. They didn't have very much money. Roquan just got that big deal, $20 million a year, $100 mil, like
Yeah,
20,
yeah,
and they didn't have that much.
Yeah.
Like
And
they're
that's
gonna
the-
have problems franchise tagging them, and they're gonna have to shuffle around some money somehow and switch some shit around for signing bonus. And
Yeah,
Like,
but
Oh, is
you know
this
what?
true, Mike? You were trying to talk
Actually,
to a
Baltimore
Poles
Ravens
and
has
traded
more
the
money than
first rounder
Chicago.
for Savage.
Yeah,
No,
the
I
Bears
don't
are
like
trying to trade for Savage now.
I was like,
Dude,
I could call Brian Gutekunst and probably get that done for you, bud.
you know how I know
Baltimore
that the
Ravens
Bears
has
want
more money
Savage?
than the Bears got.
I know for a fact that the Bears want Savage because they
Right.
were desperate for Clinton Dix. It's like the
No,
same
but-
situation, man.
no, but I'd be honest, I would
Hey.
take Amos back.
Hey,
Yeah,
Mike,
no shit, right?
No, no.
yeah, you can
No.
stick it to us. You can take Savage since we took Amos. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there you go.
One thing about it, Baltimore Ravens has the most money to play with this year in the NFL. in the cap.
Wow.
The most.
Well,
What'd you say, John?
They don't have the most.
Yes, right. Yep. So right here, they got 120. Chicago's got 100.
No.
Look it up
You
right
be
now. Look it
smoking
up.
some
Look
shit,
it up.
I
are you
promise
reading?
you. You want to
Where
bet
are
a
you
year
at?
Who's
you want
got-
to bet a year profile pick,
Sports
John?
bet,
That is
sports
not
bet.
true. We have 25 million more than the second place, and that's the Falcons.
right.
We have 153 million more than the Bucks.
No, you got 100, and Baltimore's got 120.
No, they don't.
They
Yeah,
have
that's what I thought.
24.
That's what I thought. That Chicago has 150.
Oh, it actually
No.
does say that Baltimore has.
That's not
120?
true.
Hey Nick, go to over the cap. That's the most they
Yeah,
updated.
you got it.
That's where I'm at right now.
The Bears right now are about 100.
I'm on over the cap right now, and it says that Baltimore has 120 million cap space.
No, that's not true. I'm looking
Tell
at
me
over
how.
the cap right now.
That's what it says.
I'm
That
looking
is
at
what it
over the
says.
cap right now. They have $24 million in cap.
I'll pull it up right now.
But tell me how.
Oh, I thought
I
that
don't
Mike
know.
just kicked his TV screen
There's gotta
off.
be
I was
something
like,
All right, hey, when you Google it, hey, check this out. Let me see if I can show you guys.
I'm looking it up. It says Justin Fields is a bust.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. For some reason,
No, it says right here. It says how Bears projected cap space went from 118 to 93 mil ahead of free agency. It doesn't explain it though at all.
it's not counting active cap. That's why. So what's actually happening? The Ravens have the actual cap space that the Ravens have is actually 24.2 million.
Yeah,
it didn't.
That's
count
what
the
kills me
active
when
cap.
they say stuff like that. Why can't you explain that? Like what happened? You know what I mean? They just say, it went from 118 to 93. Well, that's good,
So
but
the
how
Bears-
why and how?
The Bears have 98 until the change, right? Now, since we're on this subject, let me ask you, Mike, because we talked about it yesterday too. I understand that the Bears have a whole lot of cap space, and there's a lot of free agents and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Who is it? Because I saw actually on a lot of shows today that they were talking about name a player that's actually worth a lot of money that wants to play for the Bears, because there aren't any players that are trying to make money and win that want to go to the Bears just to rebuild for another few years. It's like killing their career. So what is it that you realistically see happening?
You've had enough of that shit.
I can't believe you put it like that. That is just.
Stop playing with us.
Are you serious, Nick? For real?
Put him in the corner.
I'm just reiterating what everyone was saying today on their
Nobody
show.
wants to go to a team that's rebuilding.
Dude, it don't matter if the team's in dead last or what. If that bank is big enough and they offer it, he's gonna fucking take you.
Yep.
Are you gonna let me answer, or are you just gonna fucking keep talking? This is why nobody really says anything, because it's a bunch of interruptions all the time. And I'm literally looking motherfucking on this bitch, and you're lying. Bears are at 98 at the top spot. Next person's 55. So I don't see nothing on them Ravens.
That being 55 being the Falcons, I know.
But I mean, you guys made me look though.
I got right
We did our job.
I was like, did they cut everybody to get that?
Exactly. That's I wonder how the fuck they got up there.
So I want to defend the Bears a little bit right here. You know who's going to want to go play for the Bears? Somebody that wants to start. Somebody that's on a second contract that, maybe he was a little underappreciated. Maybe he sat behind somebody for a while, wants a chance to go start for a team. The Bears are a perfect place to go get like a 3-year prove it deal from one of these, free agents that are on a second contract.
Yeah, I heard Azard would go there for a really big contract.
So you guys really think it's going to be Saquon Barkley? Bears fans keep saying Saquon Barkley.
No.
Why would we do Saquon Barkley when he's going to be about $12 million? Yeah, he had his best year on contract year. That was it. Other than that, he was injury prone. The question is, can he stay healthy? I personally like Montgomery. He's only going to be $6 or $7 million for 2 or 3 years. That's cheap for a top 10 back.
But didn't you not pick up his fifth option?
What's that?
Didn't you not pick up his fifth option?
They haven't did nothing yet. No,
I don't think there's any way right now that the Giants are gonna let Saquon go to begin with, because the way that they just played,
correct.
They looked pretty damn good, and their coach I think loves Saquon now, especially since he just had a full healthy season. And they watched Danny Dimes; he actually played pretty well in my opinion. I don't think that there's any way that the Giants would even let you guys get Saquon at this point.
And he proved again the Vikings are frauds.
The Vikings got a lot
So we
going
can
on.
all agree on that.
They just don't have Barkley under. Like, they got to worry about Jones because Jones wants Rodgers money. Like, I know you guys been seeing it, and they can't do them both. I know. I agree with you.
Yeah,
it depends. If Dabble really thinks that he's gonna be their guy, I mean, look. Let's say Daniel Jones progresses again this year. I don't know, man. I could see it happening.
Well, your quarterback market now is going up every year.
So can you pull up some numbers on Monty being a top 10 back? That's what
I was wondering. I was like, no, like I like Montgomery
to say because he's not a
when
top
he's
10
healthy. When he's healthy and they use him right, he's a top 10 back. They literally took a lot of the running backs out of the sequence just for the fact of quarterback running option shit that damn near the quarterback had more rushing attempts than our running backs. I mean, it didn't average
you guys
that
love
way.
that for some reason. I don't know why you guys love
but
it.
it's not fair that you call him a top 10 back. You can't give him a top 10 back. I mean, injury is part of it, man. If he's not available, he's not available.
So he had 801 yards and 5 touchdowns this year. Now, he did have 4 yards of carry. That's not great, but it's not bad either. Top 10, I don't know. If he's
you could take Dalvin Cook. He's useless in Minnesota.
Let me say this to you real quick, Mike. Let me say this to you real quick, Mike. I think Aaron Jones is even like muddling around that 8-9 spot, maybe 10 to be honest. But I think it's mainly because Dylan takes a lot of his production. Sure, fine, whatever. But because of his production, I'm giving him around the 8 to the 10 spot. So there's no way I could give Montgomery top 10 because of that.
Well, damn near every running back gets hurt in the league.
Yeah.
And they're still top 10 running backs. Despite all the injuries, actual running backs are in the top 10 despite injuries.
I think there's a lot. If Montgomery commands like too much money, they can just even get rid of him and run with Herbert.
Khalil Herbert.
No, Williams.
The problem with Montgomery, a lot of people felt like Montgomery wasn't even the best running back on his team at times. So I mean,
Khalil Herbert looked way better.
Yeah, that might be the scariest. That's the scariest proposition there is that they let Montgomery go and give Khalil Herbert give him the reins.
Khalil Herbert's a good runner. He just lacks on blocking. That's where Montgomery comes in effect. Montgomery is a top 10 blocking back, 100% out of the backfield. Montgomery wasn't a top 10 this year, but was last year. But it's up and down with the running backs. You know what I mean? I like Montgomery.
That's great, but Alan Lazard is a top 5 blocking receiver, and he's not even in the top 50 in my opinion. So
One possible running back that I've said before on this show is that I don't know what the situation with Josh Jacobs and the Raiders, but the Bears can actually go after Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs doesn't want to be on the Raiders. Like the way that he talks, the way that he says that the locker room is destroyed and everything. His last few games of his interviews that I watch, it doesn't sound like he wants to be there. It really doesn't.
So there's a Bears opportunity,
and they got the money.
There.
Yeah, they got the cash,
but if you
man.
can get them for like $10 million, hell yeah, for sure. Like I said it on my show, Ken said it. Like I love Brandon Jacobs. You know what I mean for the price. If I had to
had the most rushing yards in the league this year, he's going to be looking for more from you guys. To go to the Bears, he's going to be looking for a ransom. Like let's be honest.
Why is it always going to be a ransom to the Bears? No matter where he goes, it's going to be the same price.
Because what we're getting at,
it's not a rip. It just is what it is,
yeah,
right?
I mean, what we're getting at is to go to a team like the Bears. You're going to have to lure players in as the Bears team with how terrible their roster is right now. You're going to have to lure them in with a lot more money than you normally would. That's why.
But that's just free agency in general. Everybody's got to
we can always overpay one guy. I mean, you guys do. So, I mean, we can.
Sure, you have the cap for that. We understand that.
You guys but that's the problem I don't want to be involved in. I don't want to do that. I don't want to go back to the fucking Clea Mack where, he's going to be the fucking shit. Paid him all that money. He had one good year and nothing. No, I don't want to do that.
To be fair, he earned that contract though. Khalil Mack was a fucking monster.
Yeah.
He did not earn that fucking contract. He was literally on the IR for the last year of his fucking career, and he was making top dollar.
A better comparison.
Sitting on the bench. No, he didn't earn his money.
Mike, a better comparison would have been the Allen Robinson contract. That would have been a better comparison, in my opinion.
No, that wasn't worth it either.
Man, he quit on you guys. Like, man.
Yeah, he just gave up.
He didn't quit on us. He didn't do shit in the Rams. Shit happened. He got COVID. He said he was never the same. Yeah, he was on a downhill spiral. We definitely overpaid him that last year, but we didn't do it again. We said the Rams.
He didn't do shit for the Rams. He definitely quit on you guys. He looked like one of those 6-year-olds during
T-ball.
But
I could say Aaron Rodgers quit on you guys last year too, because you got rid of Adams. So Rodgers quit on you guys.
We didn't get rid of Adams.
Rodgers showed us the mandatory stuff.
Yeah, we didn't get rid of Adams. Let's be clear about this, okay? We had no choice.
Right?
Yeah, Allen Robinson didn't give up on the Bears. You could see that he wasn't the same guy when he went to the Rams. He was just, he was just declining. It's okay. It happens.
He did. But most people don't know the ifs, ands, and buts. You know what I mean? But definitely, he even said when he got COVID, he wasn't
actually, Nick knew the if, ands, and buts.
Yeah,
just ask him.
I've been around a lot of ifs, I've been around a lot of ands, and I've been around a lot of butts, bro. So
and you say all three all the
time. Don't be smacking my butt, Nick.
You think he's thinking about a butt?
So, Mike, are you guys going to take a chance at DeAndre Hopkins?
I personally don't think so. I don't think they make the big splash at the wide receiver. I really don't. I see him more making the big splash on the defensive line or offensive line. Because that's where we lack
any shot you guys go after Deron Payne, or that he even has a chance of getting out of out of there?
I would love Payne. I've been saying that since fucking our year ended. Like, I wanted Payne, but I personally don't think he's going to hit open market. They're going to tag him.
Yeah, me neither. The Lions would love him too.
Hey, Isaac, is Justin Fields a quarterback or a running back?
What? He's a special teamer.
Hey, Google. Hey, Bill, I know he's got another.
He's the guy who got Gatorades.
Hold on, guys. Real quick. Let's let Darian go real quick, and then I'll get to you, Isaac. All right, let's do that.
Stop playing with us.
Go ahead, Darian.
Well, funny thing about Payne, I thought I've seen and heard some Bear fans say they would have wanted him on their team just so they could pair him up with a rookie and possibly have Payne be that mentor to him to show him the ropes and whatnot. Maybe pair him next to Jalen Carter out of Georgia or Will Anderson out of Alabama.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen some Bear fans say that was a possibility.
So Isaac, go ahead. Take the floor now.
I'd say, so the question was, do I consider Fields a quarterback or a running back? Well, mostly what I see him excel at is being a running back. I don't really see the throws out there. Like, Bears fans say, oh, he does this throw, he does this throw. There's a lot of broken coverages that he gets those throws off of. But when it's coming down to reading defenses, if his first read's not there, I see him put his head down and just start running. You don't see the progression from Fields that before he gets to the line of scrimmage, him lifting up the head and seeing if a wide receiver is open and throwing the ball. And there's plenty of footage out there that shows wide receivers do get open, contrary to Bear fans saying, oh, none of our wide receivers get open or none of our O-line is blocking. Well, how come your O-line is ranked 14th in the NFL if they're not blocking?
So I want to give hold on, real quick, Mike, real quick before I let you go. With this, I want to give Simon credit for that because Simon was the originator of finding these videos and these clips where it is true. Justin Fields puts his head either down to the ground or to the sideline, and he stops looking at his receivers and his progressions. That is actually true. There's a lot of film on it, and Simon was the one that brought that to light that we all got to witness. So
it's my quarterback. There is a lot of film on that, but there's a lot of film on some good throws too. Don't get me wrong. Can you let me talk or what? I don't interrupt.
Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
But we had one player on our offensive line to stay in one position all year, and that was Braxton Jones. That was the only one that stayed there all year. Other than that, it was a deck of cards between injuries and popping here and there. I don't understand why Whitehair isn't playing center, because that's where he was the Pro Bowler. Like, I get kind of what you're saying a little bit, but yeah, but who's not going to be comfortable in there when he's getting beat up half the time? And yeah, he did put his head down and run, but he'd run right by your ass too.
I'm gonna get to other people. We're gonna move around this panel. I'm gonna say this though. I've watched guys have really, really awful offensive lines. I've seen guys that needed to make wine out of water very, very quick all year. And I've seen guys that can read through their progressions. So, I just don't see Justin Fields doing those things that makes it a cohesive quarterback who can throw the ball and run when he has to. It's more he's a quarterback that runs and throws when he has to. That's more so what it feels like. That's the problem that everyone's having with him. So let's go around this panel real quick. Mike,
can I say something real quick? Just one thing, and I'll shut up for a while. Share this to my page since this is a Bears fuck.
Okay. We will. So let's go around this panel.
Done.
Look, now all of a sudden, we've already talked about Rodgers. Naturally, we have to talk about Justin Fields, right? Let's go.
Is he going to be traded?
Bill, we're going with you, Bill. Bill, it's your stage now. Go for it.
I'm thinking he's going to go to the Indiana Colts, and I think it's going to happen on draft day. Mike's gonna flip lids, but it's going down, boys. Because
I won't flip lids, but I'll bet on that.
Hey, that is not Poles' quarterback, and he's gonna get his. So stay tuned, fellas. Stay tuned.
I love it that your guys is. I love it that Poles is who runs the Bears organization, because you guys are smoking Poles all day with this shit with Justin Fields. It's crazy, bro, for real.
Stop playing with us.
I see Big Ken right here next to me. Go ahead, Ken. What do you think? Are they? Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's transition into not only how you feel about this, but are the Bears trading Justin Fields at this point? Because that's actually a hot topic right now.
I'll start with that one. I've been hearing more and more things that they're more open to trading him as it gets closer to draft time. And I could honestly see it, just because he's been, we'll say, inconsistent. Will be nice. I can see when they say some flashes, because every once in a while you'll see a throw that goes, okay, maybe eventually he could be the guy. But then he'll do something completely boneheaded and make you think, why are they waiting on him?
Yeah, no, definitely. All right, so let's go to John Dorn.
Oh, this should be good.
Well, that's why I get to John Dorn.
You've had enough of that shit.
There's another fraud right there, Dan Campbell, right there. That's another fraud. But anyway, that's another subject for another game. But I think he should be traded, but I don't think he will be. For one thing, he has no pocket awareness. He can't read defenses. He's just a fucking running back that fucking is on his last legs, pretty much. They better find something to back him up, because he's going to be hurt. Sometime during the season, he's going to get hurt. Hate to say it. They need a backup. So they got the number 1 pick. Go get Young. Get in front line in front of him. That Fields get beat up for a year, and then put Young in next year and trade Fields.
Playoffs. So we haven't heard from Simon in a while. Go ahead, Simon. The floor is yours.
I mean, I don't think they're trading Fields. I don't think there's a way in hell, even with the number 1 pick. If the Bears don't trade down, because I'm sure someone's going to want the first pick or to move up.
Like the Colts or the Texans, for example.
I think it'd be super smart of them to trade back, get a few draft picks extra, because they have so many holes. And I'm going to give Justin Fields another year. I think he showed some promise this year. As much as people crap on him, I think he's at least shown the ability to make somewhat of improvement. Like, I talk a lot of shit on his turnovers and his inconsistent play, but his fumbles especially, because people like to discount. Oh, he only lost 2 this year. Yeah, but he had 16. He led the league in fumbles.
So like a year where you get 14 of them back, there might be a year where you lose 14 of them. You know what I mean?
But also, I want to say that I think, and I understand what Mike's saying, a lot of inconsistent play as far as who was across the offensive line. And I'll give Fields some credit on this. His team gave him the most time to throw. Or what was it? I was looking out. He led out of quarterbacks that had at least 300 attempts. He led the league in the amount of time to pressure or throw, if that makes sense. So time to snap to pressure or throw.
That was on NFL.com too. They bring that stat up.
So I mean, it is partially due to Fields' ability to extend the play. So I'll give him partial credit for that. But their offensive line is not as bad as Bears fans make it out to be. They were top 5 in run blocking, and they were 14th in pass blocking per PFF. I know PFF's not the end all be all, but it's a pretty decent indicator of who's being good at their position. I will say their wide receivers suck, so that's also part of it as well. Mooney was hurt for part of the year, and he probably had nagging injuries and stuff. Claypool, I don't know why they gave a second-round pick for him. I'll be honest with you. I was glad the Packers didn't do it. You can't talk the Packers on it, too, because I was already going to do it because I don't like
All right. Well, hey, great take, man. So you like that? I want to go to Russell next, and you have Russell. Here's the stipulation of you going next. You have to talk about when Justin Fields had 0 people rushing him and he threw an interception.
You know what? I'm going to be the objective guy. You're not going to cut me off if I'm objective, right? Because I know that you guys are just
but you have to bring that up at some point. There's your assignment.
I've seen Justin Fields be awful a lot, but I did watch him play at Ohio State. So I'm going to give you this. I'm going to address 2 things. That he played at Ohio State when he had Chris Olave and he had Wilson. I've seen him make throws in the tight windows. I've seen him make the throws that everybody doesn't think that he can make. He hasn't made them in the pros yet, but I'll say that. And another thing is the trade down scenario. Now, I'm a Lions fan, so I know a little bit about picking in the top 5. Actually, I know a lot about picking in the top 5. And one thing that happens every single year picking in the top 5 is everybody likes to talk about, oh, we're going to trade down. I'm going to get 17 first-round picks for the next 50 years. And it's like, it doesn't happen. Only the Bears would trade up to get a quarterback and trade multiple first-round picks. So that's probably not going to happen. And with 4 quarterbacks, that's probably not going to happen. And one more thing I'll say about Ohio State quarterbacks. Justin Fields was better at Ohio State than you're giving him credit for, but C.J. Stroud is a better quarterback.
Okay, but you have one last part to your take real quick.
Oh, yeah. Justin Fields threw an interception on 0 coverage.
Zero pressure.
On that, Mike.
I'm sorry.
No, we'll get to Mike in just a second. He's saved for last on purpose.
Can I just real quick?
Mike's doing.
I want to clarify something about that. So I was reading recently that Aiden Hutchinson didn't know he was supposed to be on the field and he ran on there. Is that true? Or something?
I heard about that too.
Yeah, something about ran from.
It was actually a scheme. It was a scheme.
Damn, Russell, you're on the hot seat, buddy.
Yeah,
he was acting like he was running out.
You're talking about.
He was acting like he was going out the field.
Hutchinson did a Lambeau leap. That was phenomenal.
No, on that play, you fuck.
I thought you were talking about something. I thought you were talking about that Lambeau leap.
If you talk about the Lambeau leap again, I'm booting you.
Hey, John, what's your thoughts on him doing a Lambeau leap?
Who? Russell?
No, oh my God. Okay. Anyways, we got other people to get to real quick. This is a hot topic. I gotta get to everybody. Isaac, you're next. We're gonna go A-Dub, and of course, we got Mike the Bear fan Les. So let's.
He's sitting in the lobby.
Isaac, go ahead.
I think the Bears trade Fields, get Bryce Young, because Fields just said he hates playing in the wind, in the cold. And Mike, you just said it's going to take 5 years to build that Arlington Stadium. So you want a quarterback that wants to play in the cold, in the wind, and Justin Fields saying, "Nah, I'm good on that."
Wait. Wasn't Fields doing the dolphin in the monsoon though?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
That's the rain. That's different than the cold.
Okay, go ahead, Isaac.
That was the first game of the season. It wasn't cold or nothing. It was nice. It's different when you're freezing your balls off. But I mean, he did say that for sure. But I mean, who would want to play in the cold when they come and play in the dome in the good weather?
When you sign up to be a head coach for the Bears, your main priority is to beat the Packers. And if your quarterback says he hates playing in the cold, guess what? You're not going to beat the Packers.
And when you're 0-100 already against the Packers, like it's not a good sign.
Yeah.
But no, all right. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bill. Were you?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I thought you were saying something.
You like that?
Okay. Well, there you go. Darian, go ahead and give us your take on this.
As far as the choice on Justin Fields getting traded, do I think the Bears go through with it? I would say no, they don't. Especially if they feel he still has the potential to grow and develop with another year under his belt, depending on if they revamp and rebuild that offensive front, get him better weapons through this draft or through free agency. Who knows? Like one of the reasons I felt Justin Fields would be traded was just a matter of him speaking out loud about the weather. Like for me, that's a dead giveaway to where you want to be traded. Like you got certain elements of the weather that you cannot handle. And I felt like when you come to Chicago, that's the first thing you want to consider. Using every element of the weather to your advantage to beat everybody, including Green Bay. And it seemed like for me to hear Fields say that, it's like that's something he can't do, which may be problematic for anybody that's a Bears fan. Like if your quarterback's not able to handle certain conditions out there like that, then apparently that's going to cause some issues for you guys.
I look at it too. Is that a GM and a new coach want their own quarterback. They want to pick their own quarterback. You know what I mean? That's
it seems like they don't even like Fields, if I'm being honest. So A-Dub, do you got any more to say real quick before I take over and give it to Mike?
Not at the moment, no.
All right, so I'm gonna put it down real quick, and then Mike, you get to fucking tear us however you need to.
Scott,
make sure you mute everybody too.
Who was that aimed towards?
Look, here's what the Bears need to do. This won't happen. The Bears are not trading Fields, which is a stupid move in my opinion. There are teams out there that actually believe that Fields could do great in their system with their roster. There are definitely teams out there that are interested in Fields. You trade Fields now while you can, and you get everything you can for him, because this is not a 1 year, 2 year. This is a 3 to 5 year rebuild that you're looking at right now. This is something that you're looking at. It's going to take a long time to put something around a quarterback that can succeed. Now, let's say you trade Justin Fields and you get a whole lot back for him now while you can. You get Bryce Young. Bryce Young doesn't have to start right away. You get a veteran in there. You get an Andy Dalton, whatever it is that you got to do for the next few rebuild years. You let Bryce Young sit there and do the Jordan Love thing, not like, 4 years, that's too long. Jordan Love's going to go through that. But You let them sit and you let them develop and you let them learn and you give them like snippets, you know what I mean, of getting in there and getting some real time. And you wait until your team is ready. You get a good defense, you get a good offensive line, you develop your team, and you let your quarterback sit down for maybe 2-3 years, and you're ready. You're ready to go. You're ready to go. But if you keep Justin Fields, what's going to happen is you're going to ruin his career. That's absolutely 100% what is going to happen with this kid. So let him go, get what you can now, and rebuild. That's what you gotta do. And you know what? To be honest, real quick, if I'm a Bears fan, I'm getting rid of Justin Fields now, and I'm not even drafting Bryce Young. I'm not even drafting a quarterback this year. I'm going with a free agent quarterback like maybe Heineke or someone that maybe makes it a little comparable.
You know how many free agent quarterbacks we went with? You want to start with Glennon? You really wanted me to go down that road? I'm not going down that road.
Me. Calm down. I'm giving you your time.
Then you better mute me. Then shut up. It's my turn.
I'll give you your turn. Don't worry. My hands are right here. I didn't do that. So, look, you tank. Next year, you do not draft a quarterback this year. Next year, you draft Caleb Williams from USC. That's what you do. You draft Caleb Williams. You get the first pick. You get Caleb Williams next year from USC, and that gives you a good, nice little 1 to 2 to 3 year little window right there to make your team great. And Caleb Williams is NFL ready at that point. You guys could have a serious, great transition.
Playoffs.
It's not going to happen, though, because you're not going to trade Justin Fields. You guys are going to believe that this guy is your savior, and you're going to ruin his career. That's what's going to happen, in my opinion.
What's going to happen?
Hold on, guys. Mike gets the floor now. I told Mike he's allowed to have the floor now. Mike, you're up. Go for it.
I mean, if they're going to offer the world for Justin Fields, who's not going to take it? Our rebuild process started last year. We gave up $94 million roughly to players that didn't even play on the team. We started last year. If we trade, I guarantee we're not going to get Bryce Young. I do not want another Kyle Murray, 5'10", 194 pounds that can't see over a 6'6" lineman. No. I don't want that. If anybody, I want a 6'4" guy. But I don't see them trading away Justin Fields. We got way too many holes to fill, and the quarterback isn't the problem. Yeah, we would love an upgrade for sure, but as a Bear fan, we never had a good quarterback. He's the most athletic player that's been in Chicago in the past 20 years. You know what I mean? Yeah, we traded up, got Trubisky, this and that. Yeah, we fucked up. Oh, well. You know what I mean? But
we know what the Bears are really going to do.
They need too many needs. Too many needs to be worrying about a quarterback. They're going to go for offensive line, defensive line, linebackers. The quarterback, we're not going to do the quarterback. It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
Hey, we know what the Bears are really going to do. They're going to trade back maybe for Mitch Trubisky.
But I do have a question, though, for you. Has Rodgers thrown a 250-yard game last year? Asking for a friend. My girlfriend asked me that.
He did. 290.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. The last game of the season, he threw like 200.
Mike, you got played on the Packers show.
Now, if you said 300 yards, no. If you said 300 yards, no, he didn't.
Dude, like you said, this is the Packers show, but for the past 49 minutes.
Look, let's be honest. You like that? Packers show, we talk about all the other teams in the North. That's natural. Now that, you know what? Mike brings up a good point. Let's talk about the Vikings now. We're
not going to talk about the same old Lions?
No, we already talked about the Lions. The Vikings, you are the biggest fucking frauds that I've ever seen, in my opinion, in history. Like, in history. That was bad. Everyone knew that you guys were fucking straight frauds, man. So, let's talk about what you're doing, because I just seen an article that was written yesterday about how strapped they are. They're in cap hell. What are you going to do with this team? You have a quarterback that, I'm sorry, I can't trust this guy. Kirk Cousins looks nice. It's like polishing a nice little turd until you realize it's a turd. So
I heard they might even cut. They might cut.
Yeah, look, how do
what was that? You heard that they might do what, Jordan Moore?
They might cut Hunter.
Well,
Hunter.
They're going to cut what?
That's how you.
Well,
this team is imploding, and there's a guy. Hold on, real quick. There's a guy. His name is Homer Haspels. No dick having Homer Haspels, and he loved Dalvin Cook every day of the month, every day of the year, and all of a sudden, you know what? Dalvin Cook's not the guy anymore. Why did that all of a sudden change?
Because they can't afford him.
Hey, at least Kirk Cousins go to Netflix.
There should be a Netflix special of Dalvin or Kirk Cousins. There should be a Netflix special for Kirk Cousins where it's like how I duped a team into giving me millions and millions of dollars to do nothing.
So we got a Kansas City Chiefs fan on, Rock Lockwood.
I am not no Kansas City Chief fan. You lying.
So Rocco, how'd you feel about that Super Bowl where your team got the butts raped?
I really feel like the officials could have kept the flag in the pocket, honestly.
Oh my God! Let's be honest, man. Wait! Don't talk about the officials. First of all, that's a fumble. That was a fumble. Sanders fumbled that ball. He caught it. Did a 180. He planted both of his feet. That's a fumble.
No,
I don't care what nobody says. And
No,
your boy Goddard, he didn't catch that ball. That's not a catch. Like, I don't know how you can complain about the officials when the officials gave you so many
opportunities. The officials were bad throughout the entire game, but that was a key moment in the game that cost us the fucking game. I mean, come on.
Bro,
If you don't make that call, if you don't make that call, there's still 1:54 left on the clock.
Okay, and if they call the fumble for the touchdown, and if they don't call the Goddard first down, which shouldn't have been a first down, even on the fumble. Even on the fumble that the Kansas City Chiefs got a fucking fumble and touchdown, there was a face mask they didn't call. Oh my God, here we go, man. You guys.
Dude, there's a lot of fucking ifs that you could fucking throw out there. You want me to show you the face mask they didn't call on that play?
There's a face mask on every single play. Let's be honest. Anyways, let's do this. Let's do this.
You want to nitpick certain plays, but when I show you one that's a positive towards my end, all of a sudden you don't want to hear that shit, do you?
No. What I'm saying is actually the dude that did the holding, he actually came out and said he held him. So I don't know what it is you're complaining about at this point.
Is that if the officials don't make that call, we get the next minute 54 to fucking prove that Kansas City ain't as great as everybody else. Like they are.
I thought you guys
just a correction.
Not as good as everybody wants them out to be.
So real quick,
and I'm
Bill.
telling you now, the reason why we didn't get any fucking sacks is how fucking you play on that shitty ass field. How you gonna sit there?
So look, here's the funny thing. For the first time in history, someone dirtied up the Rocky statue.
That's real nice.
Absolutely dirtied up the Rocky statue and made a mockery of it, and they kicked your ass and beat you in the Super Bowl.
They finally got away with it. They finally got away with it, right?
And
someone finally did.
They said they finally got away with it.
Nitpicking when
they finally got away with it. I mean, shit. The sun's kind of shine on a dog's ass once in a while, but what the fuck? He's still a dog.
I agree with the field. I agree with the field being crappy, but both teams got to play in that field. So
yeah, I'm actually gonna watch that movie tonight.
It was so fucking horrible. What are you funny, man?
Sun shines.
I'm going to tell you right now. The NFL should be ashamed of themselves for even putting any good teams on that fucking shitty field.
What the hell's going on out here?
What was it?
That was me. That was me on that Super Bowl. I'm going to tell you the truth because we couldn't get no grip on our fucking pass rush at all because of that field.
Can we be honest? If you guys played in like a dome, Mahomes was probably passing for way more touchdowns than he did on you guys. So.
Oh, remember all the excuses Viking fans made when playing on Lambeau that we had special cleats that
you've had enough of that.
Made in Green Bay that we could play on, and the there was no such thing as
we invented high heel cleats for that game or something, whatever it was they were trying to say.
Especially for Green Bay players, you know.
Yeah, I remember that shit. That was nuts.
Justin Fields actually didn't get shut down by Jerry Alexander. You know why? Because the cleats in the field. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they had to change cleats half of the game when a former Green Bay coach told them to change cleats, and they didn't do it.
They didn't do it.
So that's our fault, right? That's our fault.
Fellas, I was going to try to tell you when you spoke on the Vikings, anyone wanted to give more of their take as far as their Brian Flores hire as their new DC over there?
That's because it's a good hire.
That's a good hire.
It's a good hire.
Yeah, I'm worried about him being their DC because
you don't got the players. You don't got the players, so they're all old. They're all old and abused and fucking washed up. And...
What basically helps them is their secondary with Flores. I mean, even though they don't really, like I said, like you said, they really don't have the players. But if they use Harrison Smith and Lewis Seen, like Flores used the safeties for the Steelers, then they're gonna be pretty good on some of the back end. But if the players don't show up like they did for the Steelers, then they're fucked.
They gotta get younger, that's for sure.
Agreed.
Well, Flores is the right guy to get them there because that was a great hire, I feel.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I said, well, damn, Minnesota's going to be something for real now, especially if they can get that offense going.
How's that?
Because I'm telling you right now, I think Minnesota's biggest problem is that Kirk Cousins is their issue. Everybody wants to talk about Kirk Cousins as it's their savior. No, Kirk Cousins is your problem.
Yeah, I don't know how many years Kirk Cousins can play on the Vikings and Viking fans can still defend the guy. Like the guy hasn't been passed.
Exactly.
Case Keenum done.
Kirk Cousins is his worst enemy himself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I mean, if they like stats, that good for them. But if they like championships, then Kirk Cousins not the guy.
I mean, you need 8 yards, you throw 3. Like what the hell?
Yeah,
and you got fucking Jefferson on the fucking.
One could say that last play in the playoffs defined his legacy. Check down to the tight end on a 4th and 8, but the game on the line.
You got Jefferson on the field. Come on.
One thing
go up and grab it.
One thing the Vikings are really lucky about is that extension for Justin Jefferson doesn't kick in until 2024. Or else,
the problem with the Vikings is they're only one-dimensional with Jefferson. They need another receiver on that team.
Oh yeah,
and Thielen ain't the answer.
Because Osborne stepped up though.
He had some good games.
They already got to release some players. They got to. I mean, I'll see Thielen back on the team.
So he's probably gone.
We're thinking Kendricks
real quick.
Thielen's going to be gone. I
want to ask Rocco, and not just Rocco. I want to ask everybody this question because this has been chirped about so many times, and it drives me crazy. How do you feel, Rocco, when Bears fans say, Justin Fields, did you see what Jalen Hurts did? So Justin Fields is so comparable to Jalen Hurts without giving any context of their throwing motions.
Well, I'm going to tell you the difference.
Their pocket presence, like everything that developed with Jalen Hurts that absolutely is different than anything that has to do with Justin Fields. For whatever reason, they try to compare them, and I don't know why. I don't see it. Go ahead, Rocco.
Well, in the beginning, I could see the comparison, but the comparison is no longer there because of last year. Hurts went from last year to this year. He went out to California, and he worked on his passing game. That's why his percentages went from 57 up to 63. Okay, because he worked on his passing percentages. He became one of the best pocket passers of this league, actually. Huh?
I said, it's funny you say California because that's where Simon wants to live. He's going to move there.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's where he went. He went out there and worked with somebody. I forget what the man's name is, but he went out to California and worked on his passing game. Okay? And also the difference between Hurts and Fields is their legs. Hurts can bench press fucking 400 pounds. I don't know what Fields can do. Hurts has tremendous
leg arm, then. You don't mean his legs, you mean his arms. because bench
No,
pressing.
I'm talking about he went out to California, worked on his passing game, got his passing game up to 6% from 57 to 63. Which I'm going to tell you right now, I think it's either 63 or 66. He got it improved by 7 to 10%. That's a tremendous improvement. I don't give a shit what anybody tells you.
So I'm just gonna let that slide. What just happened, just for the sake of the show. But okay, I get what you're saying. Look, Jalen Hurts,
and like I said, and then the difference is, in my opinion, when it becomes between Hurts and Fields, is the leg strength. Hurts has tremendous leg strength.
Now it's the leg strength. So you mean their squats?
I mean, dude, why do you think the quarterback sneak works so well this year and everybody wants to ban this shit?
That is the dumbest shit I've ever heard, by the way.
I mean, come on.
Fucking stupid.
I heard that
Jalen Hurts has strength, man. He has some tremendous leg strength, dude.
Okay. Let me say something to you, Rocco. Let me say something.
How come nobody could stop the quarterback sneak?
Rocco, don't make me mute. Let's talk. Rocco, let's talk.
Because you got a quarterback that's pushing, and then you got two other people pushing. You ain't got nobody.
Okay, Rocco. So you gotta let us talk. Okay. No. When it comes to strength of arms and legs and all that stuff, it has nothing to do with anything, because I watched Jamarcus Russell sit on one knee and throw it through the goalpost further than Michael Vick. Michael Vick created.
You're comparing Jalen Hurts to that one.
Hey, Rocco, you gotta let us talk. Rocco, I'm about to remove you. Rocco, you gotta let us talk. I'm willing to let you talk. You gotta let us talk. I watched Jamarcus Russell and I watched Michael Vick. They created the whole breaking the record of on one knee throwing it through the goalpost thing. You know what I mean? They had some of the strongest arms you've ever seen, especially Jamarcus Russell. Bro, he really could throw the ball like 75 yards. You know what I mean? It was kind of crazy. That has nothing to do with fucking anything. His leg strength, his arm strength, that means nothing, man. So the comparison I'm talking about,
Hurts is also one of the hardest workers.
Rocco, you gotta let us talk. You gotta let us talk. I'm gonna go around the panel, and you gotta let us talk. Okay, so the development that Hurts had when it comes to like the touch on his throws, his progressions, his pocket awareness, those are things that Fields doesn't have. And I don't see him developing those things with the Bears. That's my point. I don't see the comparison. So you guys go ahead and rip that apart real quick. Isaac, go ahead and take the lead.
Okay, so there's two sides of the coin too. I mean, yeah, Hurts definitely developed. He has more 300-yard games than a lot of quarterbacks in the league. Like, he's really tossing the ball. On the other side of that coin is he got two really good wide receivers on his team and a really positive tight end.
Devontae Smith's development was actually pretty crazy.
Yeah, Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown is just a beast himself. You can't really stop that guy.
I really hate that we didn't make that trade. Like, when that trade happened, I'm not joking. As a Packers fan, I was sitting there going, why didn't we do that?
I don't think we're going to happen anyway.
Exactly my words, too.
A.J. Brown wanted to go there, and that's it. Nowhere else.
But the reason why you didn't make that is because Aaron Rodgers took all that money and you didn't have the money.
But let me get in my words. What's called?
What are you talking about? We had the money. God, man. Go ahead, Isaac.
Yeah. So, but the thing is,
hold on, Darian. I'll get to you next.
I know Fields doesn't have the wide receivers that Jalen Hurts is, but I don't see his progressions like him reading the field. I don't see him reading defenses like Hurts is. I've seen Hurts in many games just look at one side of the field, doesn't see that person open. He transitions to the next side.
I love that you said that because Hurts and Fields will both roll out of the pocket, whereas Justin Fields tucks the ball the second he rolls out of the pocket, whereas Hurts looks. You see him rolling out, and he's looking for an open guy.
He'll put his head down, not even look at what's out in the field that's open. Hurts is actually doing that. Hurts is before he runs past the line of scrimmage, he's looking and seeing who's open, and if he sees nothing open, he continues running and picking up.
That's what I'm saying. The difference between a pass first, run second, as opposed to run first, pass second. There's a complete difference between those two things.
Hurts protects the ball a lot better. Where Fields, he's too careless with the ball. That's why
he does hang the ball out. He does. Yeah. He does hang the ball out. And not only that, I've watched Hurts have the same problem that Fields has in his first couple of years, where he's like rocketing the ball in there, and you can see it. That's what Fields is doing right now, where it's like there's just no touch on his pass. He's just fucking rocketing that shit in there. You saw this year.
Justin Hurts. That's where I feel Hurts going out to California and working on his game between the off seasons.
And that's fine.
Was beneficial to the Eagles and himself.
But that's the comparison that we're making, where there is no comparison, because Hurts is actually with Devontae Smith. Him and Devontae Smith, they just work. They just do. This dude floats it up like he floats it. He figured out the little flick float. You know what I mean? Like instead of the rocket, he figured out the little flick float up there and let your receiver go get it. You know what I mean? But Isaac, sorry, go ahead. Keep going.
But yeah, I was just going to say, I just don't see Fields really lifting his head to see if his wide receivers are open. And there's many instances where his wide receivers are open. And when he buys time before he runs past the line of scrimmage, there's so much time a defender or defensive back can be on a wide receiver. To tell me that Mooney and all these guys can't get open, EQ and Pettis on their team.
Well, it's because it's actually not true. Like the video that Simon sent to us, it proved that what you're saying is just not what you're saying. It proved when people say that it's just not true, because there was many open guys. Many.
Yeah, there's guys open all the time. I've watched the Bears games, and yes, it's true that Justin
you bring
Fields
in the right coach that can all be coachable though.
It doesn't really have that much time, but he has
Justin
time
Fields
to
don't
look
have that
down
good of
the
an
field,
arm either.
scan the field. He has time to scan the field and see some of these open wide receivers, and he just doesn't make the throw. He just puts his head down, he starts rushing, and thinks that's what's best for the team. But just like the Atlanta Falcons game, and just like the Atlanta Falcons game, he tried to do that in the second half, and he just kept on hitting them, and eventually injured him.
All right, so let's go to some other people. John Dorn, you've been chomping at the bits. Simon, you're next. John Dorn, go ahead and give us what you're trying to say, because you've been going at it.
Well, everybody knows what I think about Justin Fields. I think he's a bust. But you know what? The more I watch film on him like that, there's a lot of things he's got to work on. But I'm going to give it till next year to actually call him a bust, because I think all the things he's doing is correctable. They can fix him if they bring the right people in to do it. And he's got to do it himself. And what I've been hearing, he does work. He's in the gym all the time. He does a lot of workout and everything else. So I'm going to give it till next year and see what happens.
But doesn't that tie into what we're saying is, like, we're not saying that Justin Fields isn't some great athlete or football player. That's not what we're saying.
Yeah.
What we're saying is his inability to pass the ball. That's what's going to absolutely
his instincts is way off. I mean, like you said, his first read's gone. He tucks the ball and he wants to run. He
puts his head down, or it's to the side. It's a bad way to play quarterback.
And he stares down his number one read. He stares it down all the time.
So it kind of gives me Kaepernick vibes in a way. Kaepernick, I felt like it was like the exact same thing. So when I say that, Simon, I'm going to go with you next. Like this is especially with a franchise that doesn't know how to develop quarterbacks at all in any sort of way. That's
got another guess, Nick.
So, yep, we got one. We'll get to Anthony soon. So, Simon, not only are you on the worst franchise in history to develop a quarterback, you're like, it's not coming to fruition how it needs to for you to develop in a way like Jalen Hurts, right?
I mean, I don't know.
Why is that?
Anthony, we'll get to you.
Okay.
It's just right now. It's just tough to say, given the cards that Justin Fields has been dealt. I think there's too many holes to fill on both offense and defense to fairly what's the word I'm looking for? Assess
Analyze
where
film,
he's at.
or
Yeah, that's a good one. Analyzes too. That works. So that's why I'm gonna really wait till next year to give my fair opinion on him, because I think the Bears have a lot of good moves they can make for them to give themselves a good assessment of Justin Fields. I do want to go back on that AJ Brown. The Packers could have easily gotten AJ Brown. It has nothing to do with Rodgers' contract. AJ Brown's cap hits the next 2 years.
Who said it was because of Rodgers' contract? Real quick.
I think Rock did. He said Aaron
Did
Rodgers'
he?
contract.
Okay, well,
hold on 1 second, real quick. His cap hits last year was $5.6 million. This year, $8.3 million.
And during the draft, we had capital too. We had cap.
And the Packers were ready to offer Devontae Adams more than they offered the Raiders.
But I think the reason why AJ Brown went to the Eagles because him and Hurts are really good friends, and that's
fine. But as a Packers fan, that hurt all of us, right?
I'm gonna be honest. Before this year, I didn't want him. I didn't want AJ Brown.
Well, you saw him this year. He's definitely worth the fucking trade that they made.
I know.
And he's getting paid handsomely over there.
I just think I was looking at like the games played in the prior 2 years. He missed a few games, and I was like, eh. And he was like really boom or bust. Like there were some games where he showed up, and some games he didn't. Now, hats off to him. Obviously, this year he came out and fucking balled the hell out. And I'm kind of jealous that we didn't do that. But at the time, I was like, fuck, I don't want that. But
hats off too to the Eagles jumping on that because nobody knew he was available. You know
that changed that changed the whole game for them. It really did. So look, let's go to here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna let Anthony say what he wants to say, and you guys rebuttal to Anthony because he's extremely opinionated. So go ahead, Anthony.
Hey, first of all, how's everyone doing this evening?
Good, man. Hope you're doing well.
All right.
As long as everybody doesn't work tomorrow, because today's Friday, I think we're all good, right?
Well, I have to work tomorrow. I own my own business, but it's still good. It's still a good day. It's gonna be a good day and a great evening. Here, I'm gonna start with JF1. I'm gonna start with that, right? Compared to Jalen Hurts, right? Stats are comparable. The second year, they're like, I think Jalen Hurts has like more, close to like 1,000 yards more. The passing rating is the same. The quarterback, the touchdown, the interception ratio is the same. And I'm saying all that to say, check this out. I and most Bear fandoms believe in Jay Fields. That trading him and for Bryce Young and what are you gonna do? What you're gonna do? What Poles is gonna do? And I really believe this. And first of all, I'm 59 years old. I've been a Bears fan for well over 40-something years, 40, 50 years, at least 50 years, right? And I've watched a lot of bad general managers. I've watched a lot of bad coaches. I watched some good coaches and some good general managers. But with Poles, it's just something different. It's just something different. And maybe it was him taking those 3 draft picks that we had last year, right? Because we had given up so much in the past that we didn't have first-round picks. But he took those 3 draft picks, turned them into 8, and out of the 8 draft picks, we got 3 starters. So my belief with this number 1 pick, first of all, JF1 is not going anywhere. He's going to take that first-round pick, and we're going to get as much capital as we possibly can. And just like I don't know who said it, but the Bears have a lot of holes to fill. I'm not naive. I'm a realist like that. So I'm not looking for the Bears to go from worst to first, but I am looking for a 9-win season because I believe Poles is going to address the offensive line and the defensive line. And now I'm open to commentary. Are you guys there?
Yeah. I think
yeah,
like
yeah.
even with if you don't address the offensive line draft wise, then you're gonna have to go to free agency drafting O line for Justin Fields, and that's gonna cost the Bears a pretty penny because O lineman, like a good starting O line player or offensive tackle, offensive guard, costs money, and they cost as much as wide receivers now these days. It's a market going up. You see like guys like what's his name, Martin, that got paid. A lot of these different offensive line players that got paid, it's going to cost the Bears a lot of money. So I think if the Bears, go this route where they go for offensive line and defensive line, a lot of that money is going to go to that. And that's where I can see where Mike said that maybe we won't go for wide receivers or maybe won't go for other weapons. But yeah, it's going to definitely cost a pretty penny to get a decent O-line around Justin Fields.
Well, I got something we can do. We could trade Bakhtiari to the Bears for number 1 pick and a 2nd round pick. That'll work.
Be funny now, John.
So you wanna do a
You want a number 1 pick and a 2nd round pick for Bakhtiari.
Anyways, fellas.
Right. Anyway, let me respond to that real quick.
Okay, go
There are a lot of good, very good, talented offensive linemen in this draft. I'm saying, like, if we take the kid from Northwestern, that spot is sealed. That kid can ball out. That's just one. That's just one, and that's others. So I'm not saying I'm not talking about going through free agency to build a line. I'm talking about building a line like back in the day, that Dallas offensive line.
Big guys.
You know what I'm saying? It all came through the draft. Matter of fact, Cincinnati's offensive line. It came through the draft, man. And yes, we have money, but why? When you can draft, it's talent. Those kids are coming out like that kid at Notre Dame. That kid at Notre Dame is a top 10 pick. He's a top 10 pick.
Keep it young as you can,
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I'm going to tell you, man, that's the same thing New York did. They drafted 2 offensive linemen for them guys, and we got to deal with them for the next 10 years. So, New York's doing exactly what my boy's talking about, man. They're going through the draft, man, and New York's going to be a nice offensive line to deal with for the next 10 years. And I'm not looking forward to that shit as an Eagle fan.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely. That's a way to do it.
I can respect that too. Like it took Green Bay going through the draft to get our offensive line together too. Yep. So I get the idea, and and many people will say, and many people can even say, it does take some time to get a good offensive line together. Like don't get it all fixed in
Green
1
Bay,
year.
Green Bay's the outlier. We're an O-line factory.
Yeah, we draft like 3 a year.
We develop these guys. Stanovich is the best in the business developing these guys. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Mm-hmm.
But and you know how I feel about the Packers. The same way they feel about the Bears. You know what I'm saying? But that's true. I love the game. I love the game. And so if we want to be realist about it, go through the draft, man. And everyone that pops up as a free agent, I've been reading on my timeline. The Bears should get him. The tackle from Tennessee, the Bears should get him. The running back from the Raiders, the Bears should get him. Shaquan Barkley, the Bears should get him.
Josh
like
Jacobs.
no, and no. Barkley, first of all, man, they pay no running back no $14 million a year when you can get a running back in the 3rd round. But most importantly, we the Chicago Bears have 2 serviceable running backs. Montgomery said he'll take 7.5. He'll take 7.5.
Well, this is where I kind of disagree with you on.
Wait a minute. You have 3 serviceable running backs. One of them being your quarterback.
True that. Oh, my bad. You're right.
I kind of disagree.
You can't throw. Because you can't throw the ball.
On Josh Jacobs. If Josh Jacobs is available, you get him. Josh Jacobs is a beast, and he's young.
What about Jamal Williams? He's free.
Jamal Williams.
Yeah.
Hey,
I don't know about that one because I don't.
Man,
think,
you don't
I don't
spend
see
you don't
the
spend that kind of money.
17 touchdowns last year.
And my thing is, I don't see the Lions letting him go anywhere either.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lions are gonna extend him. They're gonna keep him. He's not only a good like running back, a serviceable. He's never gonna be a running back one, but he's a good serviceable running back too, and he's a great locker room guy.
Yeah, he's a great locker room guy.
Yeah, that's very key to any NFL locker room is having a great locker
I
room.
miss having him on the Packers, man.
Yeah, I know. But you know what? I love AJ Dillon. So.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah.
And Jones.
Oh yeah.
You know what? And you know what? Before anybody cut me off earlier, I was gonna say, if anything you could have said about AJ Brown, he definitely earned that big contract he got from Philly.
Oh yeah,
that's for sure.
Well,
4-year, $100 million.
Oh, I'm out of
Yeah.
here.
So let's just hypothetical. What's hypotheticals? Because like everyone before AJ Brown went to Philly, everyone thought he was a malcontent. Everyone, that's why a lot of teams passed on him, right? But he got to Philly and got with a very serviceable quarterback, and then he earned that bread. So what does Jay Fields need?
Well, the first thing he needs, man, is an offensive line. We talked about that because that was the first thing that was killing him. I mean, that poor boy couldn't go back there to fucking throw for anything, man, without somebody being in his fucking face 2 seconds later. 2 seconds later.
2 seconds.
I mean, so that's the first thing he needs. The second thing he needs is a good couple of wide receivers because he's got the running game, but he got nobody to throw it to. You tell me who he's got to throw the football to.
Actually, when I look at the receiving core, I would say the best targets you have is Darnell Mooney and Chase Claypool. But my perspective on them is neither one is a wide receiver one for you.
We need an Evans. We need an Evans on that team.
No, Evans ain't even good enough. I mean, I was talking to a friend of mine, and he was telling me about Mike Evans, and I got to looking into Mike Evans. He's kind of overrated, bro.
Oh
really.
no,
I mean,
not the game.
Yeah.
Not the games I saw, man. I'm thinking
No,
he's still playing beastly. He's still playing beastly. He's a big target. He knows.
Some people
you
like
know
Mike
what?
Evans, some of us don't, and I'm not a Mike Evans fan. I disagree with you, but I mean,
Man, I pay him. I give up a third round pick. I give up a third round pick and pay him because that's that big target who knows. And first of all, a leader in the locker room,
Tampa
especially
Bay
in that wide receiver room. With what we have now, yeah.
I mean, I'm not a Mike Evans fan, but they're going to take more than a third for him.
Third in his contract.
They're going to take
And
more
his
than a
contract?
third. I think they'll take at least a second.
Nah, not for him.
I think so.
Not with his age. Not with his age. He's good.
That might be the only thing.
That was a big baby. I won't even mess with him.
I mean, I'm not a Mike Evans fan.
Neither.
Yeah. I mean, he might have a good talent, but like my boy John said, man, Mike Evans is a prima donna. He wants everything to go his way.
Yeah.
To me, he's cancer in the fucking locker room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He kind of reminds me of Chad Johnson.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
Chad
no.
Johnson
Not as bad though. Not as bad though.
We're talking about Ocho
Chad
Cinco.
Johnson was a prima donna, bro. Prima
That's
donna.
El Cinco. What's that? El Cinco Socho.
Yeah, El
Cinco.
Chico. El Chico. Ocho Cinco. That's it. That's
Ocho
it. It took
Cinco.
me a minute.
That's
Ocho
what it was.
Cinco.
Yeah.
It took me a minute to think about it. I'm like, wait a minute, what was that called? Ocho Cinco.
Right.
That's what his name was.
Right.
He was a prima donna too. I can't stand prima donna players.
You know what? I didn't see it. I didn't see that in Mike Evans this season. I did not see that, and I haven't heard anything about him being a prima donna. I haven't. I'll Google it.
Yeah.
You know, and see what's going on with that. But I haven't heard that. All I seen when I seen him on the field, it was leadership.
Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe you said a different Mike Evans.
He's been injured quite a bit. He's been injured quite a bit too. I don't know.
Oh, speak of Mike Evans, he should.
Maybe this year he didn't, but I mean, when you watch Mike Evans throughout his career, he's been a crybaby. Maybe this year he maybe got wised up a little bit. I don't know, because I didn't really watch Tampa Bay that much. I was watching my Eagles. You know what I mean?
Hey, you know what? If there's a time you could have considered Mike Evans prima donna, watch him as far as that beat he had with a corner out of the Saints.
Yeah. Right.
So, but the word is Claypool is a malcontent, and that came from Hines Ward. You know, saying that a lot of times he will put himself in front of his teammates and the game, and that he needed to grow up. Me personally, I've seen a couple of games with Pittsburgh with him, and that's what I saw. But the Bears are banking on Justin Fields reeling him in and making him number 2 at best. He'll never be a number 1 on any team.
Claypool's, he's not a number 1. That's why I say they need another receiver over there in Chicago.
Yeah, that's what I was. That's what I was saying about those guys. Like Mooney and Claypool are both number 2s at best.
Yeah.
I
mean, Claypool's a nice addition, but he can't be your number 1.
I mean, that's all we had. I mean, if you go down the wide receiver roster, you're looking at Mooney and Claypool. That's it, man.
That's it. That is not enough for Justin Fields.
No, it's not. So again, now with all that draft capital,
let me ask you, do you have a tight end?
No, I don't.
So you don't even.
Aaron Rodgers, the day that he decides to show up, the defense doesn't. I want the whole package. I want the whole thing this time.
I'll tell you what, Romeo Doubs is looking good. He is going to be wide receiver number 1 by the end of the season. Book it.
Dillon are going to be part of this. They're going to get a lot of catches this year. They're going to get even more. Jones already showed that he can handle a big load of catches.
9 different receivers had 90 or more yards, in the 7 games that Devontae was out.
He stuck with this team for so long. He said he wants to retire here. Why not just let it be? I mean.
Hey everybody, this is Gerhard de Beer, former Green Bay Packer offensive lineman, and you're watching Frozen Tundra Network with Bill the Packer fan and Packer owner Nick. Enjoy.